Welcome everybody back to Who's Your Band. Sean Morton, my co-host, is not with us today. He decided, you know what? There's going to be a major snowstorm, a nor'easter hitting the Northeast. This is a great day to move. So Sean is moving today. Wish him the best. His new place looks absolutely gorgeous. And we'll see him next week with a very special guest. But this week, okay, we have singer, songwriter, musician. Give it up for LVictoria. How are you, Laura?
How are you guys? This is LVictoria. So good to see you. Thank you for inviting me to this.
Oh, listen, it's our pleasure, and it's exciting. So I don't know a lot about you, and which is good because it gives us and our audience a chance to really get a chance to know you. So tell us, where are you from originally?
I was born in South America, in the beautiful country of Venezuela.
That
cool. Fell apart like Cuba, but we're not going to talk about politics. And I moved when I was really young. I moved to New York, and then I moved to Los Angeles. And
how old were you when you came over?
Oh, I came here in my 20s. I graduated. I have my bachelor's degree in my hands, my diploma, and that's what my mom told me to do. And
I know that. I know that about you. You went to a very good school. You went to Pepperdine.
Oh yeah, I went to Pepperdine for my master's degree, and
in teaching.
My English is better now, thanks to that.
Education, teaching?
Education. Wow. I do run a music school, and I teach all instruments. So it's fun, and I get to encourage my students and give my best. So, yeah.
Very interesting. Okay, so you grow up in Venezuela. Okay, in Venezuela. So in Venezuela, what kind of music are you listening to when you're kind of like a little girl?
Well, when I was little, I grew up with two brothers, thank God. And I'll tell you why. Because I grew up listening to Poison and Van Halen and Metallica and all the cool bands.
And I'm assuming your brothers got you into that?
Yes, I was listening to Def Leppard, and I loved it. And then I started listening by myself. I started listening to Janis Joplin, Ella Fitzgerald, and Robert Johnson, blues, like more blues.
You have a very sophisticated taste in music. You do.
Thank you. I started playing harmonica when I was 12. No, actually 8 years old, sorry. And my mom was wondering in Venezuela, she was wondering like, maybe they gave me the wrong baby. But I mean, it's a joke, you know what I mean? I mean, we laugh about it.
Okay, so you're listening to this classic rock. You're listening to some very cool jazz. Did you're gravitating to music? Did you start a band? Did you want to play? Did you want to be a singer? Like, how did you start to get involved in making music?
I was really young. I was writing songs when I was probably 6 years old. I knew how to read. And I knew how to write.
Wait, you knew how to read music?
No, not yet. I started studying piano and classical music and music theory. And thanks, Mom, again. And that helped me start writing with my piano and then with my guitar, because I love.
That was the first instrument you learned how to play was piano, right?
Piano, yeah. But I wanted to be a guitar player. I wanted to be like Steve Vai, like.
Of course.
Like Slash, my favorite guitar player is Richie Blackmore from Deep Purple. So that's what I wanted to do.
And Rainbow.
Yeah, there you go. So I started studying music and writing my own songs, and I've been doing that. I produced 10 albums so far, and one was part of the Grammy. So really, I got too far from little girl from Venezuela. You know what I mean? So dreams come true.
Yeah, we had Katie Cole on the show last week. She's a part of Smashing Pumpkins, and she said pretty much what you just said. Like, the first instrument that she picked up was the piano, and then wound up, playing guitar and bass, and that, just like you, instruments. Do you kind of find that's like the gateway, the intro instrument? If you can play the piano, you can pretty much pick up everything else.
That's true. I believe, and I always encourage my students to play piano first. There's so many reasons.
Why?
Short, I'll tell you why. First, it's easier to learn music theory through the piano. Number two, it's easier to start playing piano and get your hands used to before the guitar. A lot of girls give up playing guitar because it's too harsh. But when you play piano first, your fingers are trained, and then when you jump to guitar, it's easier. You know what I mean?
Right.
Why you don't see a lot of female guitar players out there is because it's such a hustle. I mean, all the gear we have to bring. Look at my Eddie Van Halen amp. It's crazy. I mean, I have my Flying V guitars. You can barely see them, but they're here. I mean, it's a lot of hustle, but at the same time, when you start with piano, it's a good transition. I mean, you learn music theory, you learn how to compose, you learn. It's just easier, and actually makes you smart. I mean, I passed a bunch of math tests thanks to studying piano and music theory. That's a long conversation, so we're not going there right now.
There's definitely a correlation there between math and music and piano in particular, correct?
Yes, because when you study piano, you are reading, you're playing piano, you're using both sides of the brain. So when you're using the whole brain, you're using your body and your brain, you're connecting everything, and your brain develops so fast. To be honest, some of the math tests that I passed them because I developed logic through my piano lessons. And I didn't know, for example, at some point I saw a formula and like a math problem. I was like, I've never seen this. I just saw the answers, and I was able to just cross the ones they didn't make sense, and then kind of like logically kind of like know what the answer could be possibly. And that's how I passed my math test, to be honest. I mean, math is cool, but when you are from a different country and you're doing a math test, it's not the same. I mean, the problem is wrote in a different language, first of all. And also I saw some math things that I never seen before. But thanks to logic, I always pass those tests. So it's kind of like a miracle.
Okay, so you were what? How old were you when you came over to the United States?
I was in my 20s.
You're in your 20s. And did you have something going on here musically, or did you come over here just to come to the United States? Did you come here for like a reason? Did you have like a gig lined up, something like that?
Well, I was into jazz and rock music at the same time. I had a jazz and rock band back in Venezuela. And I was into that, and then my country fell apart, and this dictator just took the country, and I knew in my heart that I had to leave. And God told me, I mean, I listened to the voice of God. I read the Bible. I have to go right now. Like I don't have a life here anymore. So I moved to New York, and I started singing jazz in some clubs there, and it was really cool, even with my broken English, So what I told the honors, I told them, I can sing in Spanish, I can sing Portuguese, I can sing bossa nova, I can sing in English. And they were like, oh yeah, cool, awesome. We don't have too many singers that can sing bossa nova in Portuguese. So that's how I got in, to be honest. But then when I moved to Los Angeles, I always been relentless. I believe in perseverance. So when I moved to LA, I started my first band. And I took the band on tour. I got sponsors. We were selling albums on the streets to survive, to be honest. We were like selling albums and merchandise. We were working extremely hard. And then out of the blue, I was just touring with Ace Frehley and like Bret Michaels. I was just like, this is like a story that tells you that dreams can come true as long as you believe, and you work hard, of course, and in the favor of God.
You said a lot there. Let's go back to New York. So you come to New York. What clubs are you playing in New York?
I was playing the Village.
It's a great energy in the Village, right?
Yeah.
Sean and I are both stand-up comics,
Yeah.
And before the pandemic, my home club was Greenwich Village Comedy Club. I mean, that's I was always in the Village, and now it's completely ravaged. It's terrible. There's nothing going on. So you're in the Village, and how long were you in New York for?
Well, before I wanted to ask you, do you know the 55 bar in New York?
55 bar?
It's a
No,
real,
I know Club 54, which
no,
is
yeah, it's a
yeah.
real bar in 55 Street, Lincoln. Sorry, I'm trying to remember. 55 Christopher Street. I believe,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's
Well, yeah, 55 Christopher Street.
yeah, somewhere there, somewhere there. It's a little spot. You can Google it. 55 bar. I'm pretty sure it's still open. Little tiny spot. I saw Cecil Taylor there, who used to play with John Coltrane. I
Oh
saw.
my God.
I watched so many amazing blues and jazz players that I can't tell you. Little tiny spot, so cool, and I believe it's still open.
Well, you think about Christopher Street, is that's like kind of like the gay street in New
Isn't it?
York
Oh,
City.
sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like the village, the village.
Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I'm just saying.
Somewhere in the village there. If you can, I promise you, if you Google 55 bar New York, West Side Village or Village somewhere, it's there. I just haven't been there in a long time. 10
Cool.
years.
So what made you make the jump from New York to LA?
Well,
Better music scene?
I love New York with all my heart, and but the city was too crowded, too tough, too crazy. I didn't feel like the rock scene was there, to be honest. And I wanted to experience the Sunset Strip, and I wanted to go to the Roxy, the Whiskey a Go Go, all these clubs. I wanted to
Right.
learn the culture and see where my favorite bands were performing. So I moved to LA and I started playing the Sunset Strip Festival and all these things. And I mean, before they closed the House of Blues, because when they closed, I'm pretty sure a lot of my friends in LA know this. When they closed the House of Blues on Sunset, in Sunset Street, in Sunset, sorry, in Sunset, the rock scene died in LA. They start fading out, and I believe, only the Whiskey a Go Go and the Roxy are the only venues that still have rock bands, which is kind of sad.
Did the Troubadour close?
I don't know about that one, but I know that the House of Blues is closed. Also, the Key Club, and there is another club that closed, and everything become like hip hop and all this. And I honestly, I love music. I love many genres. As long as the song is good, I believe that is a good song and
Agreed.
appreciate it. But I believe in my heart that the rock and roll scene should not die like that. I mean that's what LA is about, especially the Sunset Strip Music Festival. The Sunset Strip. You know what I mean? That area.
Now, I had a question about I saw a video of yours. Um, First of all, how long ago was Here in Hollywood?
Oh wow, 10 years ago. Um, yeah, that video was produced by a friend of mine who worked with in movies. That was such a great experience. That's a really cool video. It's very innocent and sweet, but it also talks about. I mean, did you watch it? Did you see it?
Yes. Yeah. So after what you just told me,
Mhm.
I get the feeling that video is a little much about you, and right, coming to LA.
It's about this girl that came from South America with a dream, who ended up performing at these big venues and then driving, looking at the venues before the House of Blues closed, and looking at the venues like, wow, I can't believe this. You know what I mean? Like, you don't believe it sometimes. That something.
Now, this is what I had a hard time figuring out. I'm usually pretty good at picking out influences and can saying this reminds me of this. This I can't do that with this song. I had a hard time putting my finger on the influences there. So, what was the influence on Here in Hollywood? Where are you coming from, and what's going in your head? Like, who's the musical influence on this one?
Yes. Well, as a producer, I produce many genres and styles, and I've been criticized for that, to be honest. But
Why? Why would someone criticize that? That's a beautiful thing
I
to be
know
versatile like that.
it's because my first band was very rock, 80s rock mixed with modern influences, right? So
And
people,
that first band was what? That LA Velvet?
LA Velvet, yeah.
Okay.
So after that, when I start producing other genres, people start asking like, why you're not producing more rock songs? And I'm like, no, I will produce more rock songs. But if God gave me this gift to write lyrics, encouraging lyrics through other genres, I'm gonna use it. So here in Hollywood, pretty much is a pop song, and there are not too many. There is a cool guitar there actually. There is a cool guitar riff, but it's more pop. It's more influenced in the pop scene. Back then, I was actually signed with a label, and they wanted me to be a pop star, and we were talking about this, and I wanted to do more rock, and they were like, well, you can play guitar, so all these things. But I wanted to write a pop song. I want to write songs in different genres.
It doesn't really sound like any pop song I really ever heard. It kind of reminded me if Bjork wanted to be a little bit more commercial.
Yeah,
That's
it's a little bit like Pat Benatar, if you think about it. She has some songs like that, maybe Blondie. So it's like pop rock, right? But people were like, we want the 80s rock back. And I'm like, don't worry, I got you. I'll always write rock songs.
Is that your favorite era of music, by the way?
To be honest, yeah. Like if I could go back in a time machine, I want to be like there. I want to be in front of the Roxy. The Whiskey a Go-Go, and I want to watch these bands live. So cool. But I love the 70s too, like 70s, 80s girl. Yeah.
So you actually got a chance to work with like some of your idols, because I'm looking at, you have a new album coming out.
Yes.
Right. And this album, you have Dave Ellefson from Megadeth. You have Matt Starr from Frehley's band, and you have, like, to me, like, I think the coolest bass player on the planet, Rudy Sarzo, who has been not only Quiet Riot and Whitesnake. I mean, he's played with everybody, and really not only a great bass player, but a really super nice guy too. Tell us a little bit about the album that you have that's coming out, and how did you get to work with like some of the people? Were you a little bit in awe, a little bit intimidated working with like some of these giants?
Well, I got to, like I said before, working so extremely hard put me on big tours. Because when I started it, my first band was in small tours, small little venues, right? But I worked so extremely hard, and Jackson Guitars helped me. Like a lot of people started helping me just because I was working so hard, and they saw in me something. So I started playing bigger venues, and then the audience. My army. Thank you guys. I love you. The army was supporting me so much that I won 2 radio contests, and that's how I got on tour with Bret Michaels. And then I jumped on a tour with Ace Frehley. And yes, it was a little bit overwhelming because I was like, I'm just this little girl from South America, you know what I mean? And I'm like opening right now for Bret Michaels, who is really cool, by the way, and humble. Ace Frehley too. So those tours were cool. My band was opening for them. I was learning a lot. But one thing that I learned is how to be very aggressive in the performance on stage. So because in LA, you know how the audience is just very like, let's see what you got.
Back.
Let's see what you got. So I learned how to be like, lift my guitars like crazy, like flying guitar beats. My guitars were flying on the air. It was just crazy. Like I learned how to just perform big time, sing big time. I had issues with the sound before.
You put on a show.
Yeah, I had,
put on a show.
Good thing I had the issues with the sound because I know how to scream so loud with a microphone, even when I have bad sound. So these experiences help you. And then I ended up with these big bands, thanks to my army, thanks to the hard work, thanks to praying to God, and because honestly, my mission and my purpose is to bring encouragement to others through music, through interviews like this, through in any way. My mission has always been just bringing energy to people, just bringing them hope, especially now. So yes, it was overwhelming a little bit to work with this big artist, but I learned so much, and I learned that they are humble. Most of them are humble. The bigger star, the more humble. Slash is
I
really
agree with that.
Slash
I
is
agree with you.
simple. So I was on these big tours, and I learned a lot. And then I started making friends, and they started respecting me just because I didn't take the easy way. I took the hard way. I took the way of, I'm going to make my records. I actually quit the label. I did not want to be a Lady Gaga. I'm sorry. I don't want to be that. I want to be who I want to be, who I am, right? So people could see how real I am, and so I could get to them and give them energy and encourage them. If I'm somebody else, I won't be able to do that. So I push hard. I opened my own label called I Machine Records. And then I produced the next album by myself. I took the band on tour again. And they respected that. Like they started seeing that. And Ace Frehley told me, like, I respect you. You know, you are like young and you're like by yourself. Like, who's supporting all this? And I'm like, well, I guess it's God and me because I'm here and I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna destroy the stage, but I'm gonna tell people with the microphone that about my mission, about how we need to have hope. You know, that we need to follow the rock, and that's what my new album is about. Warrior Life is about God as our rock.
Okay, well, let's get back to the new album. It's going to be called what?
The album is called Warrior Life.
Warrior Life. That's right. I wasn't sure if the band was called Warrior Life or the album is called Warrior Life. So how did you get these guys to actually perform on the album?
Well, that's what I'm getting to. So they saw my hard work. They saw me on the big stage with the biggest bands, and they were like, this girl made it there by herself, without a label, without promotion, without a daddy who paid for anyone. Nobody. My family is really far in a different country, by the way. So how she got so far? And like I said, through prayers, through the power of God, through working hard. And they saw that and they started respecting me. And then we became friends. And then I will see Rudy, you know, like at NAMM. And then I will see Dave at NAMM. They will be like, Laura, great job, you know, excellent job with Jackson guitars. I'm like, you kidding me? How do you know about me? And, you know, it's like, it's crazy how.
It's amazing.
It's God connects the pieces. And when you work hard and you don't take the easy way, I mean, people respect that. They see it, you know, they see it's true, it's real. So, and they started helping me. I mean, they at some point we had conversations where I said, would you help me with this album? I mean, this album is for people to survive what we're going through right now. We need to understand, we need to be warriors right now. We need to believe like we're warriors every day right now. A lot of people are going through so much. So that's why the album is called Warrior Life, because the single is called Power to the Rock.
I was just going to ask you that. Tell us about that single, Power to the Rock.
Okay, Power to the Rock has two meanings. This is very, very important. The first meaning is that God is our rock, and through God, we can overcome any challenge. Through God, who is the rock of ages. And number two, the second meaning of the song is that we need more rock music right now.
Oh, definitely.
We need it. I mean, I was privileged. We were privileged, most of us, to grow in a generation where we could listen to Led Zeppelin, where we could listen to Def Leppard, for example. Good music, you know, guitars, drums, good stuff. And I'll tell you why
people actually singing.
Yeah, people
singing. When you know
raw, yeah, you know what I mean? Raw vocals.
I was on a show, and we were breaking down, doing a deep dive of the album Night at the Opera, the Queen classic album, right? And when you look at how diverse that album is, and songs like Bohemian Rhapsody, and you know, I mean, it's just legendary song, Prophet song, Death on Two Legs. Four guys wrote the album. Freddie Mercury, Brian May, you know, Roger Taylor, John Deacon. That's who wrote it.
Yeah,
That's who wrote it.
yeah.
That's who worked.
Movie is great too.
Then you look at some of this shit that's out now, and it's like 17 writers. The song is trite. It's it's not to hold the candle. So when you say we grew up in the greatest era of music,
We did.
100% that's 100% true. 70s and 80s, you nailed it.
I mean, and why again? Why do we need rock music now more than ever? I want to bring it back through a modern format. I know I cannot bring it back with the 80s sound. I wish, but I cannot. So I'm gonna bring it with a new format. I'm gonna bring it kind of like electronic with some cool samples. You know what I mean? But it's still gonna have the 80s rock presence. I mean, you know who's going to be in the album. I mean, Dave from Megadeth and Rudy and Matt Starr from Ace Frehley, who plays with Ace Frehley. So I'm going to make a really cool, mix of these genres, of these 1980s, and I call it 2030. I don't call it 2020. I call it more advanced. The more modern, the better for me and for the song. So anyway, why? Because we are experiencing challenging times right now, and we need rock music. We need music that can bring us up. We need powerful music that can empower us. Am I not right? Am I not?
I think you're right. Okay, so I also detect something else talking to you. All right, you're a very religious girl, aren't you?
Not religious. I have a relationship with God. He's my father. He's my creator. And oh God, I want to make it short. I don't want to speak a lot. I can speak for hours. But to make it short, God made many miracles in my life. And I can tell you really quick the miracles he did for me and why I am so dedicated to him. Not religious, because religious people kill Jesus. Religious means believing in something man-made, like the Roman Empire in Italy, who had all these beliefs that they were kings and they own the world, and so many people suffer. That's religious. That's religion. Religion it just breaks us apart. It just separates us. It just makes us different and diverse. And we are diverse. We are unique. Every person is so beautiful and unique, perfectly created by God. So what I'm trying to say at the end is these 3 miracles that God did for me. That's why he's my rock, and he's the rock of ages. The first one, when I moved to the United States, I didn't know anyone, and God protected me and provided for me. And I met a pastor who was a lawyer who through a pro bono work for free, made me a citizen. And that's God's work. That's God's work. So we even went to court, and I was terrified because I didn't want to go back to Venezuela. Venezuela is going through dictatorship, socialism, communism.
Did you have that's very interesting on its own. Did you have a hard time leaving Venezuela, or you got out just in time?
I love the country. Venezuela is so beautiful, and people are wonderful. They're humble, they're sweet. But when you have one guy that is like Hitler, I mean, everything changed. Everything just changed. Economy collapsed. And the government was giving guns to criminals to kill people on the streets who were.
But they took away the gun from regular citizens, right? That
too, and properties. That's communism. But we don't want to talk so much about politics. Some people are going to be like, freaked out face. But anyway, so that's the first miracle, right? That God gave me the citizenship through a person that was led by God. He saw me and he said, out of me, hundreds of people that were there in a church, he saw me and he said, daughter of God, tell me your story. I'm going to help you. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get scared. The second one, my mom survived cancer twice. And even in the craziest moment when my brother, the big brother, the rock, the strong one, called me and said, this is the last day. I said, no, because God can do it. And I'm going to fast and I'm going to pray until it happens. And I did. And my mom survived twice.
Oh, thank God.
So Well, those are my biggest miracles. There are other ones, but those are the big ones. And I can do it all. God can do the impossible. That's why this album, Warrior Life, is about. It's about knowing that if you pray to God, if you meet your Creator, He can heal you. He can heal your pain, your fear. He can heal the lives of the enemy. Because think about it. When we're alone and isolated, right? What do we think about? I mean, we're human and we're imperfect.
Well,
Even
you don't want to know what my thoughts are when I'm alone.
even the most
Like
amazing
I want to be out of my own head.
even the most amazing person will have the craziest thoughts ever. And I'll tell you why. Because there is a spiritual warfare out there. And there is an enemy that will put crazy thoughts right here, right? So
Right.
that's why we need to fill ourselves with light. And we need to surround each other with good friends and good family, right? So I can talk about this for hours. I don't want to preach today, but I feel like honestly in the worst moments of my life. Oh, one more miracle. Jeffrey, one more miracle. I forgot about this. Some of you know this, my story. I lost all my guitars and my gear in 2015, right before a Randy Rhoads tribute show. I had to borrow a guitar, but all my gear got stolen.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And this is a cool story for musicians. I know you feel my pain right now. I know you can feel it. So when that happened, I played the show. It went well. But when I got back home and I didn't see my guitars, my Jackson guitars, my recording gear, my stuff, my life, everything I fought so hard for, that it wasn't given for free. I didn't have a daddy who paid for anything. I mean, it was hard work, honestly. When I didn't see them there, I said to myself, you know what? I heard the voice of God and he told me, you have two choices. Or you can get depressed and fall in a hole and just lose it because you don't have anything right now. I was living with a roommate and she was crazy. Anyway, and my family so far, I did not have anything, to be honest. I barely had money. So 2015. And then he said to me, or you can come to me and I will give you peace because I am the only one who can give peace and joy. And I'm like, oh God, yes, yes, I'll come to you.
It sounds to me like you're pretty spiritual.
I am pretty connected to my Creator. Yes,
You are.
And we all have a spirit. We all have a spirit, right? So yeah,
I get this is what I don't get. Okay, it's like, do you know who Tom Brady is?
Yes. Oh man, we're gonna
Yeah.
go.
Okay. This is what Tom Brady is rich. He's handsome. Okay, and he's married to a supermodel. I think God has done enough for this guy. Okay, maybe it's time to give someone else a chance. Someone like me. Okay, I need a break. But you know what? God has been good to me too. I can't complain. I'm making a joke.
I know. I get the joke, but can you tell me how God's been good to you, please?
Well, first of all, I've been healthy and I've been able to work through this pandemic. Also, I wish Sean was here. I wish Sean was here for this because he loves when I bring this up. Out of the blue, I got asked to audition for the movie The Irishman, with Martin Scorsese, and I wound up getting cast in the movie, and I got to work opposite Al Pacino and Robert De Niro and all those guys. And from that, I got recommended for another movie which I shot that's coming out, and I shot another movie during this pandemic. And so, in that regard, I can't complain. God has been very, very good to me. Of course, I'm one of these guys. I'm a New York guy who is never happy, constantly jaded, and said I need more. But all kidding aside, if everything stopped today, I'd still be I'd feel like I was blessed as well.
I'm very blessed to me, very blessed, and I pray that God keeps blessing you and bless anyone who's watching this video and this interview, because at the end, it's not about us; it's about the message and about encouraging each other. To be honest, that's what it's all about.
So Victoria, Laura, are you teaching now?
I
You
teach
teach?
music online, and I have a couple of students that come to my music studio here in Nashville, and I love it. I love teaching music and encouraging them, and bringing them up.
It sounds like you're just full of positivity and good vibes, and I think it probably rubs off on your students, and they're very lucky to have you. Um, what made you move from LA to Nashville? Because every musician is in Nashville right now.
It's true. I'm writing a song about it. It's called Music City. It's about Nashville, and I'll tell you why, Jeffrey. Because we were in California at the studio, and I had a vision, and I saw a wave coming to California like that. And I got really scared. One thing, I don't like waves. I love the ocean. I just don't like a huge wave. I have nightmares about that. And I was asking God, why would you show me this vision? And I felt he said, I need you to get out of here sooner the better. And that was in March before it got really crazy. So, you know what? Packed my stuff with my husband. We packed everything, all the music gear, all the recording gear, all the guitars, and we left. And then we heard all the bad stories about everything that happened, unfortunately. And I have friends in LA. I miss you guys. I love you. I know California is really rough right now. You can come to my studio.
So you moved down to Nashville in March, right before the pandemic hit?
Yeah, and you know what happened? We produced a video because right now I don't know. We haven't talked about this. The album is for LVictoria for me as a solo artist, but I am in a band called Warriors of Light. So sometimes we combine both shows together. We just collaborate together. I am their lead singer, lead guitar player. It's a little confusing. It's just a big collaboration. Anyway, so to get to the point is, what was your question again?
I I like you moved from LA to Nashville right before the pandemic hit?
Yes, we produced a video called No Weapon, and it's that video is there is a revelation in that video. We produced it in February. It's prophetic because if you go and watch that video right now, it shows the images of what happened after the virus. For example, like how Nashville, the bomb in Nashville, right? How it destroyed part of Broadway, close to Broadway. You know how cities in New York.
Oh, that you're talking about the one on Christmas.
So that's in the video. Also, the streets of New York, like so empty, and how crazy is that? I mean, all these things are in the video. So that video, we just did an interview about that video and how it's so prophetic. So this is related to the fact that I moved to Nashville so quick. Because when God guides you, you're not going to fail.
Yeah. Are things open in Nashville? Are you able to get out a little bit? Are you able to perform still?
Yeah, actually, it's amazing. There's a play called Bourbon Street that I love, and you're far from people, and you could just sit down and watch some live music, even in the afternoon. I'm talking about good music. I'm talking about jazz, blues, good stuff. And there are clubs, there are places open. People are just very careful, and nothing crazy.
Have you been getting up? Have you been performing?
I had a gig at some point. It just, but then I actually went on tour to Oklahoma instead. I play because I have a huge fan base in Oklahoma and Colorado. I played Oklahoma in 2018, so that really helped me to get this big army. So, and those are my favorite states right now, and Texas. So we're going back this year, actually. We're going on tour, and we're going to play. We're going to start in March. We're going to Texas. Yes. And we are going to South Carolina for a huge festival called, I think it's called Revival Festival in South Carolina. So, yeah.
So you see things starting to open up a little bit and live music starting to come back.
Well, yeah, because there are some venues that are open. The huge festival is in an open.
Because I'm sorry, but because you saw that they canceled Coachella again.
Yeah, the crazy Coachella, huh?
Yeah. So it's because it's funny. It's funny what's going on in this country
Yeah,
where some states like New York, California, you know everything's still closed. There's no ticketed events, and then the states that you're talking about, Oklahoma, Texas, the Carolinas, it sounds like things are happening there a little bit.
yeah, and truly, in the beginning, I started feeling fear, but fear comes from the enemy. Fear is you're not supposed to feel fear. What we're supposed to do is pray, get the guidance of God, and if God opens the door, go for it. I was shooting a video with Corey Taylor from Slipknot.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, you're all over the place, Laura. How the hell did you wind up working with Corey Taylor from Slipknot? I love Corey Taylor.
It's a cool story. Hard work pays off. So anyway, I got this email, and I thought it was a scam. So I got this email from the band Moonshine Bandits from California, and they emailed me and said, "We are looking for an edgy female guitar player that can shred, that can solo, that for a music video with Corey Taylor from Slipknot and with our band." And I'm like, "What?" And they said, "We were searching in Google, and if you search edgy female guitar player Los Angeles, what you're gonna see? You're gonna see John Jett, you're gonna see Orianthi," and then it was me. I was
That's some pretty good company to be in.
I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I met Orianthi one, by the way. She's really cool. Yeah, those girls rock. Those women. So anyway, they emailed me, and I said, "How am I in Google search like that?" Thank you, Lord. And I got scared because I said, "How am I going to go to California back there when I just got out of there in March?" And this was in December when we were shooting the video. So I got scared, and I said, "I'm asthmatic. I don't want to get the virus." And then God was like, "Go." And I said, "God, but this is like a crazy video. The song is called Leave the Madness. Are you sure?" And God is like, "Go." I'm like, I pray about it. I told him to close the doors. He's like, "Go and do it." I'm like, I'm going to rock out so hard because you're telling me to go. I grabbed my Flying V, my Jackson Flying V. I went there. I rock out. The breeze was crazy in Palm Springs. It was like throwing me apart. The Holy Spirit in me was so strong. I was just like rocking out. I ended up on the floor like soloing. It was out of control. And it was surreal, to be honest. And I learned that this fear, it's not coming from God. This fear is coming from the enemy. We have a voice. We all have a voice, right? In that tells us things. For example, you're not able to do this. You're not good enough. You are you suck at this. You're terrible. And that's not true. That's not God's truth. God's truth is you are able. I love you. You were made perfect in your mother's womb. You can do it. You're a warrior. You can survive. That's God's truth. So I ended up doing the video, and it was so much fun. And thank God I haven't get the virus. Thank God I've been praying for a lot of people regarding the virus. And guys, if any of you need a prayer, just message me. I'm real. I'll pray for you. I have a team of warriors that can pray. This is a serious thing. Some of us need to work. I am out there because this is a ministry, and I need to be out there encouraging others during this war. I mean, to me, this is a war. So that's why I'm out there performing, because people need encouragement. They need hope.
Yeah. Something totally unrelated. Have you done any acting or modeling when you were in LA?
Yes, I model for different rock clothing lines,
I
and
can see that.
I make my own clothes sometimes. Come on, give me a little credit. And when I was little, my mom put me in a modeling school so I could walk better. Because I grew up with two brothers, so I was kind of like a tomboy, So my mom put me in modeling school, and I did some acting. I was part of a movie. Actually, I produced the song for the movie, and then they wanted me to act in
That's
the movie.
right. I had seen that. That's another thing that you've done.
Another thing,
Yeah, what'd you do? You contribute something to the a soundtrack of a movie?
I wrote the opening song, the very, very opening song. Yeah, it's called Seven Sins.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's great. That's good. And there's good money in that type of thing too, and it's something that just keeps the chains moving. Yeah, because you seem, I could see. I mean, you're very outgoing. I've seen a couple of videos that you're in. You're very, very natural. So that's why I kind of like I could see acting, in your future, in your career. I think to me it sounds like something you would pursue.
They should do a documentary about rock music. I want to be part of it. They were producing one time, and I was going to be part of it, but it just didn't go through. I was like, oh, that was perfect.
I don't know, it seems like every time they try to do anything with rock music, they always kill it. Like, did you see the movie Rock of Ages?
uh, yes.
How
About
Come
that.
on, that was. Did you like it?
Well,
Be honest.
I'm going to be honest with everyone right
Because
now.
God is watching, Laura, and He'll
Uh-oh.
know if you're not being honest. So, did you like Rock of Ages?
I always need to be honest. Yeah, it's dangerous. So, what I liked is like they played my favorite songs. So I'm very auditive. So my heart was happy to listen to those songs. Now, are you talking about the Tom Cruise one? So,
Yes, where one of the worst movie names. He was Stacy Jacks, the Rock. Ugh, ugh.
I know.
Oh
But why did
God! And listen, I give him credit. He did a good job. I thought he did a good job singing, and obviously he was trying to be Axl Rose. But there were a couple of scenes that it was so embarrassing, so embarrassingly bad
I
that, like,
see? I know.
yeah, you know what scene I'm talking about. When
Yeah.
all
Mm.
when
Go, go.
all like when all the rock stars, when you had Sebastian Bach and Kevin Cronin from REO and Debbie Gibson, they're all singing, "We built this city." And then the other side, you had the Holy Roller going, "We're not gonna take it," and and the reporters running back and forth with the microphone. It was so off the charts, awful.
No, you're right.
I couldn't take it.
You're
And
right.
like, I don't know how anyone could have gotten past the beginning of the movie when the girl is on the bus and she
Yeah.
starts singing Sister Christian. I, I'm ugh.
Well, I mean, to be honest, like I was glad to watch a movie that had my favorite songs, like I said, but then in the acting,
Oh,
like
you're so positive.
no,
You're
they
so positive. Say
real.
something bad about Rock of Ages.
I cannot lie. I cannot lie, Jeffrey. But to be honest, yeah, the acting was super cheesy and super. And I don't like musicals so much. But if I am the director, oh, I wish I could just do a movie. I will put the real deal. I will just put the real musicians there. Oh, that would be so cool. It will be expensive, but it's doable. It's
Well, it
possible.
looked like that movie had everybody in it. Another scene that I can't get past is when Alec Baldwin and Russell Brand are singing into a comb. I can't fight this feeling anymore,
I
and
know
they realize that they're gay for each other.
that's.
I mean, come on, this movie was just
Yes,
a pile of bull
unfairly.
crap.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we agree we don't like Rock of
Agree.
Ages.
We all agree. I'm pretty sure everyone who's watching agrees.
Yes,
Right.
if people on the Lord Victoria, if they want to chime in on their thoughts on Rock of Ages, I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about it,
Yeah.
because I am very biased about how bad this
If you really
movie
like
is.
rock and roll, tell us about your real comments. Be honest. Guys watching. Come
So
on.
what do you got coming up? What's cool? What's coming up? What and yeah, let's start with that. What's cool? What do you got coming up? What's new in Laura's life?
What's new is,
You
well,
got the album.
I'm producing Warrior Live, and I have all these amazing rock stars who are going to join me. And we have these tour dates. We're playing in March in Austin, San Antonio, Houston, and also, like I said, we're playing the Revelation Rock Fest in Charleston, South Carolina. I never play in South Carolina. I think I perform in probably 40 states. So this is my first time. I am really excited. It's going to be powerful because it's a Christian metal festival. So it's going to be out of control. Super edgy, super ballsy. And yeah, I'm so excited.
And how could our listeners find you? How could they follow Laura, and how could they support you? Because that's the thing. We always want to support our guests. We want people to buy. We want people to buy Warrior Love. Is that it?
Warrior Life.
Warrior Life. We want people to buy Warrior Life. We want people to follow Laura Victoria, and we want people to see you when you come to their towns. So how could they find you?
And they want to see the video with Corey Taylor, I'm pretty sure. So
of course, I want to see it.
Yeah, and Power to the Rock, the single, it's gonna have Dave.
When is that coming out?
As soon as I can. I'm working so hard this year for sure. So anyway, guys, I'm going to release a lot of songs soon, and the tour dates, everything. The easiest way is wolarmy.com, WOL army.com. When you click that website, you're going to see LVictoria. Click there, and you can even talk to me and message me through Facebook. You can message me. I am there for my people, for my soldiers, my commanders, my army. You know, you guys are my warriors. That's what I'm doing this. I'm doing music for you guys. This is my ministry. So again, the easiest way is wolarmy.com, WOL. Look, WOL army.com. Click LVictoria, and you over there, you're gonna see how you can buy pre-order the album to help me finish it. And I hope to see you guys on the tour. It's gonna be amazing.
Guys, please support Laura and her band and her positivity. And when you see her, tell her how much you hate Rock of Ages. And Laura, thank you so much for coming in and joining us today, man. You know, I wish you nothing but the best. You're delightful, and I look forward to hearing the new music.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey. You guys are wonderful. I love this podcast. I am. Everybody subscribe right now, because otherwise you're gonna forget. Love you guys.
You're the best.
Thank you so much.
Laura, you're the best. We wish you nothing but success. Guys, next week we have a very special podcast. We're going to have Bruce Kulick, formerly of Kiss, on the show. That's our special Super Bowl edition show. So, guys, we will talk to you next week. Laura, love you. Take care, everybody.
Love.